We will, of course, bring you more updates on that as the day rolls on in Ukraine and, of course, on the front lines in the east. We now move over to West Asia, where thick smoke once again filled the skies over Gaza City following fresh Israeli airstrikes. The strikes came just 2 days after the Integrated Food Security Phase classification declared that Gaza and its surrounding areas are now officially suffering from famine.
انزح وين؟ طب احنا دقنا العذاب، قالوا لنا نزوح انطوا مناطق آمنة. اطلع على المواصي وطلعنا على المواصي. دقنا الذل، دقنا الأمرين في المواصي. يعني شكلوا علينا عبء مش عارف شو بدي اقول لك، لا شغل ولا عمل ولا حاجة، يعني وصلنا احنا ايش؟ وصلنا التسول عشان ايش؟ نقدر نعيش. والموت لسه أرحم. أرحم ما نجي نطلع من هان. يعني والله اقسم بالله اللي بصير هذا كله حرام.
The Global Hunger Monitor warned that the crisis is worsening, with over 514,000 Palestinians already experiencing famine, a figure expected to rise by over 100,000 by the end of September. Israel, however, has dismissed the report as false and biased, blaming that the IPC relied on incomplete data from Hamas and ignored a recent surge in aid deliveries. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the report an outright lie, stressing that Israel has facilitated over 2 million tons of humanitarian aid since the conflict began. Okay, we have some further updates from the crisis in the Gaza Strip. Israel has pounded Gaza City, forcing more families out of the built-up area, the most populated area in the enclave. Israel says that it is going to continue pressing ahead with its Gaza City takeover, which is what we are currently seeing visuals of now. Operation Gideon's Chariots 2 is what Israel is calling it. Israeli planes and tanks have pounded the eastern and northern outskirts of Gaza City overnight from Saturday into Sunday, destroying buildings and homes. Residents have told the Reuters news agency, as Israeli leaders vowed to press on with planned offensives on the city despite outrage from around the world. Witnesses reported the sounds of explosions non-stop overnights in the areas of Zetawin and Sherbaya, while tanks shelled houses in the roads of the nearby areas. We are now joined by Ali Mohammed Abushbak. He is an independent Palestinian researcher, and he joins us live from Cairo. Ali, thank you very much for joining us, as always. Operation Gideon's Chariots 2, as Israel are calling it, seems to be in full swing. Condemnation from allies around the world, along with this damning UN report, have not seemed to do anything towards Israel's actions. And as we see from the visuals in front of us, these attacks continue to being carried out mainly on the outskirts currently, but Israel say that it is going to push through its attacks as planned. Your reaction, Ali, to the start of this campaign?
Thank you, Thomas, for having me. It was a heavy night for the Palestinian and one of the toughest nights for the Palestinian from Gaza. Israel's bombardment, its focus on the northern part of Gaza City as well as the central of Gaza City, also in the South Gaza City, Gaza Strip in Khan Yunis. Israel's bombardment focus in Hayya al-Zarqa in northern Gaza and al-Zarqa neighborhood and Sheikh Ridwan neighborhood in western Gaza City, as well as also in Jabalia and Nazla neighborhood in north part of Gaza, Hayy al-Sabra and al-Zaytun neighborhood in East Gaza City. It was Israel's adopting the heavy bombardment and heavy bomb like a several of bombardment dropped in the same area. Around 64 civilians have been killed since morning up to now, and 100 of civilians injured while Israel announced to launch the second phase of Guardian's chariot operation in Gaza to seize Gaza City. Several of fear in among the civilians, especially there is around 500,000 children. They are under risk of displacement from Gaza City to South Gaza. News media reported that around 90% of Gaza Strip under the Israeli control. So that's make it the situation more incredible, and it's make it more toughest. Among of that, Thomas, it's worth mentioning that more than 8 civilians have been killed because of the malnutrition in Gaza City, and 100 of civilians, around of them, around of 19 civilians who's seeking for food. They are killed in the sites of distributing the food for the humanitarian aid in Gaza. So among of this atmosphere, also Thomas, Benjamin Netanyahu, he concerned that the Israeli delegation, he's going to send it to Cairo to discuss the last proposal that put it by the mediator Egypt and Qatar, while he considered they are not going to negotiate except in one condition: Hamas should be accept all the Israelis, points in this delegation, in this deal. So also, Thomas, it's worth mentioning that the ultimately shelling the Al-Zarqa neighborhood up to now, it's continuous bombardment and shelling this area. It's in north part Gaza City. Thomas, there is a worldwide anger with the Israelis operation in Gaza yesterday, and we have witnessed for the first time a massive of protest in northern Korea. They are demanding to Israel to stop the war in Gaza. Yesterday, also 100,000 Israeli protested in Tel Aviv, asking Benjamin Netanyahu to stop the war and accept to release the hostages. Israelis news media, they concerned that and emphasize that Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't giving any attention for the life of the hostages and captive in Gaza. Donald Trump, he reported last time about invaded Gaza. It will protect the Israeli hostages on the ground, but this is completely as a propaganda. It's one phase of deporting the Gaza civilians from the Gaza Strip, even not Gaza City, because it's a lot of the expert.
I just want to take a different look at one of today's updates. Former Defense Minister Benny Gantz has called Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to abandon his coalition and form a temporary unity government with opposition members, and get rid of those members, including Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, to secure the release of these hostages. Now, for those who don't know, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich belong to those who want to keep this war going. Much like you mentioned, Ali, we've seen hundreds of thousands of people march on the streets of Tel Aviv inside Israel. They want an end to this war and a release to the hostages. However, these members of the cabinet do not want this. Can I get your thoughts on that? On Benjamin Netanyahu, who not yet responding to that request, and also Israel Katz's statements just a couple of days ago that he said he was going to raise Gaza to the ground if Israeli demands were not met and all hostages weren't released at the same time.
Thomas, it's very clear. Benjamin Netanyahu, he's not only concerned about his government coalition that with his allies, that Smotrich and Ben-Gvir also. Last time on media, Benjamin Netanyahu, he said he came for a religion's message that for greater Israel, that to occupy several of land in Arab area and Middle East and to establish the greater Israel. So that's very clear that Benjamin Netanyahu, he doesn't care about only the coalition, the government coalition, especially the coming year, it's the Israeli election for the parliament. So in this atmosphere, Benjamin Netanyahu, he's trying to do the best for his history as well. Due to that, Benjamin Netanyahu, he's trying to occupy and seize several of land, not only in Gaza City, in Gaza Strip, also in West Bank, and establishing a settlement that against the international law, according to the resolution 2334. That prohibited the Israelis, they consider the Israeli settlement in Palestinian territory as illegal, that released in 2016 during the administration of Barack Obama. So among of this atmosphere, Benjamin Netanyahu, he doesn't care about the international community, his local opinion. He's just only consider himself, he came for a huge duty for greater Israel. Yeah, Thomas.
Ali, thank you very much for joining us.